So, once upon a time when Topher was a young homosexual adult in his early to mid 20s,
There was not even like hand holding? No hand holding?
things were held, but like there wasn't any.
What
like-
things? What things? There was Netflix and no chill. There was this guy that I knew in high school that I liked. Hey, Corey, which is my brother, and he's like, there's some sodas out in the garage.
Get
This?
out, Corey.
There was tongue involved.
Oh, God.
There may have been hands involved.
You
but
are
I don't know.
nasty.
Hello, and welcome back to the podcast, affectionately known as Rainbow Glaze, where we are gays talking about gay things and doing gay things. I'm your host for the evening or morning, depending on what time it is in your part of the world. Miss Vanity Scarlet, affectionately known as Topher, and I'm being joined by the amazing Psynergic or Sean and the even more amazing Assistant Miguel. Hi, boys.
Ho.
I'm a lady, thank you, obviously. How you guys doing?
I'm doing well. You're really enforcing the assistant title on me now, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Sean doesn't want to enforce that.
I mean, if there's anything I like doing, I like enforcing things on cute boys.
Oh.
Like rules and regulations, of course. Not
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
not mame stuff. No.
We can cancel a third time at this point, It's
only
fine.
the-
No,
only-
it's the third episode. No, it's the
It
third
is.
episode.
It's our second
We
recording
did-
session, but okay.
Yeah.
But today we've got some fun shenanigans in store for us, because if you've been paying attention to the last two episodes, or if you paid attention to the first 2 or 3 episodes of mine and Sean's original podcast, there were teasers about a particular story that I had, about a certain experience I had, and we just never got around to story time with Aunt Vanna. So now it's story time with Aunt Vanna, and I figured I cannot be the only person out here spilling my dirty little secrets, because obviously, you guys know I'm a lady, I'm a virgin, but there are things in Vanna's past that people like to misconstrue and confuse as me not being a virgin, but that's not the case. I'll explain later. But I can't be the only person out here spilling tea, so I figured, why not get the rest of the boys to spill some tea, and then we could rank them, because who doesn't love a good tier list? Who doesn't love a good tier list? So I made up this tier list not 5 minutes ago. I made it
Definitely
up
not 5 minutes.
well in advance, and these category titles were not just cooked up off the dome. I totally thought about these titles. So we've got 4 categories right now, unless we find a need that we need more, because the stories just become so in-depth and salacious that we just have to add categories, which I'm hoping for. Yes, praise Jesus. But right now we've got our base tier, which is our bland as fuck, and then we've got our warming up tier, then we're jumping to our jalapeno tier, and then finally we're in our ghost pepper tier for the spiciest of spicy, salacious details. And we'll rank them based on a majority vote.
Yay.
It is 8 a.m.
We're ready to
please.
spill on ourselves here.
Well, what better way to wake up than tales from, well, not the crypt, but yeah, I guess my sex life is dead at this point, so it might as well be. All right, well, I guess I will start. So,
Should have put Bailey's in my coffee. Jeez.
So, once upon a time when Topher was a young homosexual adult in his early to mid 20s, he met a young man. I forget which dating app it was on. We hit it off. He was very, very nice. He was cute-ish enough, I suppose. And yeah, we hit it off. We chit-chatted, and we had conversation on the daily, and we just talked and talked and talked, and then finally we agreed to meet up. I'm like, okay, great. So we're gonna meet up at his place and watch Orange is the New Black, I believe. Yes.
Oh,
And watch
that's-
Orange is the New
okay.
Black. Yeah, so this is, telling you way back when this happened. New Black was on. So went over there
I feel
to
that.
hang out. I'm like, okay, great. He invited me in. We sat down, we watched TV, and it was great. He fell asleep. It was great. It was a dandy time. I enjoyed myself. He enjoyed himself. There was nothing sexual that happened in the least. I never got a taste, never got a touch, never got a tickle, a slap, nothing, didn't do a damn thing. We just watched TV and hung out, and that was it. And I went on my merry way. I'm like, okay, cool. That was a nice first meeting. We didn't jump the gun. We didn't do anything too aggressive. I'm like, okay, this is great. He's a nice guy who likes to take it slow. He's not just trying to jump straight into my pants. Thank Jesus, I finally found one. Well, fast forward to like midnight the following night. I get a text, or was it a call?
Oh.
I don't remember. I think it was a text because I don't answer phone calls. So it had to have been a text. I got a text, and did it come from his phone number or was it from a different number? I don't remember at this point. Details are a little bit fuzzy, but I got a text, and basically it was his girlfriend introducing herself, asking who I was. Asking if I had been to the house, asking what we did, basically, checking up on her man, which I'm like, you know what? If I had a man, which I thought I was in the process of getting one, same. I'd be like, hey, who the fuck this hoe up in my house with my man? I didn't even know a girlfriend was an option. I thought this man was gay as all saints, but whatever, it's fine. So after some conversation, she asked me to politely, just cease seeing and interacting with him. And I'm like, you know what? That is fine. I'm not about to fight nobody for no man, especially some man that I have no claim to. Like, you seem to already have whatever claim you have to him. So I'm like, okay, I will let you have this man. The show wasn't all that good anyway, so like, whatever. So that was like a waste of an hour and a half, 2 hours that I'll never get back. But B, yeah, like if he's out here sneaking and whatnot with me, I mean, I can't blame him because, younger Topher was much more fit, much more delectable. Things were a lot higher. They were a lot firmer, and so I can't blame him. He had functioning eyes. Although I think he had seizures too, which was an interesting addition to the date. But regardless, it's like, that's fine. You keep your man. And I've never heard from him again. Although one of my good friends at the time, like 6 months later, he was like chit-chatting with me, and he was talking about this guy that he met, and he's like, oh, he's so excited. I'm like, oh, girl, show me, let me, blah, 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 show me the picture. I'm like, baby, this ain't the one. This ain't the one for you, baby. I don't know if this is still the situation. I don't know if he's grown out of the situation with this person, but this one ain't the one for you. You don't need this one in your life, baby. And yeah, I never saw him again. And sometimes I stay up late at night, not thinking about that. But there are other times when I think, and I'm like, I wonder if he actually had a girlfriend or if he just didn't like me and he just got some girl to be like, hey, pretend you're my girlfriend and tell this guy to fuck off because he didn't know how to tell me to fuck off. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder that. But
I mean, that would just tell that he's just a coward if that would be the case.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that was the time I accidentally became a homewrecker. And yeah, it was... My 20s were wild, y'all. My 30s are so boring. 20s were... feels like another lifetime ago.
It does. I agree.
But yeah, that was the first story. So nothing too salacious. I would probably put that in the warming up tier myself. I don't think it's too hot and spicy in comparison to some other things I have in mind. But what do you guys think?
I think that's a good assessment. Mm-hmm. That's bland as... it can be. If we get the majority vote, it can go on bland as fuck.
And it was very bland. There was not even like hand holding. No hand holding.
Yeah.
I mean, there things were held, but like there wasn't any,
What things?
There just wasn't any like actual hugs with friction or anything like that, No trouser kisses, none of that. Just
But there was body
nice.
touching?
Yes, it was a nice day of cuddling, watching Orange is the New Black and some British comedy show. And
There was Netflix and no chill.
Fine, we will put it in bland as fuck then, y'all.
Oh,
I see y'all.
oh. This is just setting high expectations now for Ghost Pepper.
I can go next if you want, Sean, if you're too shy.
Sure.
Do I have anything very
We
wait,
can start
are
with a
we
warm-up story?
are we 18 plus? We're 18 plus?
This one will
Oh,
be.
we will be soon enough.
It goes episode by episode. This one is. This one can be.
Any
let me start
episode
with something
Topher hosts is
very-
probably going to be 18 plus. So tune in every 3 weeks, guys.
Every 3 weeks. No.
Let me start off with something not too recent. I don't want to give out anything recent. This was when I was in college. So I guess that is recent, but I would say like this is like freshman year, like right straight out of high
Baby.
school. Yeah. So there is my college was hosting a kind of like a not a summer camp. I mean, is it summer camp? If it's like it's not summer camp. It's like what is it when they have like the
Camp
bounce?
over the summer.
No, the bounce houses at night. It's just I guess it's like an event.
Like a night
Yeah.
festival or something?
Yeah, I guess some type of like night
Like a
festival. I
fair
guess.
or
Yeah.
carnival or a
It was just it was one of
orgy?
those like like it was one of those like fun camps to get you excited for the semester pretty much. So when I was there, I was attending, I was by myself because, I didn't have any friends at the time. So I was walking around and enjoying the fair, getting some popcorn, seeing what was free because, I was a college student. So I saw this person. We made eye contact for the first time. I didn't make up much of it until I started, progressively seeing them out. They stood out from the crowd
Okay.
until, I was at one of the local food vendors, like food trucks, and they approached me. And they were like, they introduced themselves. Hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, hi, all me flustered and everything. He's like,
I mean, you
how are
can share
you?
names.
This is your
it's
first
fine.
semester. Just share first names. And we hit it off right off the bat. We were walking around the campus together, seeing everything. And, when there's an event going on, usually the whole campus is like pretty much either like dead or there's just some people is like lurking when the activity's outside. So when we were walking around, he made subtle gestures of,
Like
you
what?
know, like more than just
Yeah.
hand holding. Let's just put it that way. Although there was hands. Not
There were
fists,
hands
but
and things were
hands.
There were hands.
not fists, but hands. So, I took the hint. We went into
That sounds like more than a hint. Okay,
the-
their hands involved.
I
That's not a hint. That's a hey, this is happening.
we instead of going to the restroom, we went to the janitor's closet. We just
Ooh.
found a janitor's closet, and you can imagine what happened from there. And
No,
yes, yeah,
obviously they went around the school and cleaned things.
yeah,
course.
yeah. And
Found the
um,
ammonia.
I never saw that person again.
You cleaned him too good?
Ever? It was too good.
It's probably
The
because I
body
had
dissolved.
night classes. Most people had like
Body
early
dissolved.
classes. So yeah, that was my story.
Okay.
I don't know what you would want to rank it. If it's steamy,
Bland.
Really?
No.
I mean,
I was
I
like,
would-
dang.
I would give it a warming up.
Yeah, I think you would
was
warming
like- If we're gonna put me in bland as fuck, that was definitely
up.
something happened above. So I'm like, okay.
Are we gonna have a ghost pepper moment?
That's up to you, Sean.
So I guess it's my turn then, huh?
Maybe.
And no
I'm gonna
cheating.
start off-
No cheating. Don't read
I'm-
your
I'm
BL.
It's
I'm gonna
based
start
on
off
true
pretty.
stories.
I'm gonna start off pretty bland. I'll ramp it up from there. This is the story of my first gay kiss.
Okay.
So I didn't come out until I was right before I left to go to Iraq. Actually, was the first time that I told somebody and just like let it stick. Like I didn't run back to the closet or anything. And like I said, that was right before I left for Iraq. And usually when you're deployed, you have like a 2-week period where you get to come home, right? So this is that story. I came home and, you know, I was out hanging around and like this one's pretty short and bland. But there was this guy that I knew in high school that I liked. Well, I mean, he was cute. Like his name was Spencer.
Hey, Spencer.
He's married.
What's
He's married now.
What's his last name? Occupation?
No.
Social security number.
Social security. Height.
Let's just say you
Length.
are way too young. I'm pretty sure we're too young.
Thank you.
Anyways, so basically like he knew who he was and I was really just trying to discover who I was. And it was that moment like where I started to come out and people really started to know, and he knew, my brother knew. I actually invited him out. My family and friends were all going bowling. I invited him to go to State College, where Penn State is, to go bowling with us. And he did. We had a good time. I had a huge, he was like my first little gay, well, not like my first out crush, let's say. How about that?
Oh, your first little crush.
Oh, out crush.
Out crush.
First out crush. Because there are plenty of like closet crushes, but so afterwards, like we drove up separately, my brother, him and I, and we went back to his house and he like showed us around and we were watching comedy shows and just having a good time. Eventually we made it back into his room and my brother was there with us. Like I had already come out to my brother. He was like the second person that I came out to or something like that.
So he was a good one.
And yes. Well, yeah, no, for real. So we were sitting in Spencer's room and Spencer essentially said, "Hey, Corey," which is my brother. And he's like, "You know, there's some sodas out in the garage."
Get the fuck out, Corey. Give me 5 minutes.
and yeah, Corey took the hint because he's amazing. I love my brother. He went out and you know, Spencer was very smooth because he knew who he was and he came over and, you know, we made out. And that was my first gay make out session. Eventually Corey came back and we had the conversation afterwards and he noticed that I was all red and shit because, you know.
I was gonna say I could see you very much red.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen a red
Spencer's
adult Sean, but I can only imagine what youthful and experienced Sean.
little Twinkie Sean.
With hair.
You guys have seen my high school photo, right? You guys know what I look like back then.
Yes.
Little gel haired. And, well, no, I was in the military at that time, so I would have been shaven and little Twinkie.
Was it salty?
The Twinkie?
The kiss.
No, the kiss.
The kiss?
Oh my god.
No.
My first kiss was salty. That's all I remember about it. So
Why was it salty? I don't know why.
I wish I
no,
knew.
What was your
I don't
salty?
remember.
Yeah, what was your salty?
I wish I knew.
Did you eat
That's-
chips
He
or
was just
something?
salty. No, I didn't eat anything. We were look. It's not my story yet. We're still on Sean's story.
Oh, I'm done. I'm done. I said I'm starting off pretty easy on that one. That was the gist of it. That was my first gay like makeout session out. Well, no, that would have been like my first makeout. He was my first man on man kiss.
I do love those.
Did he meet your parents?
He would have met my mom, yeah, because we all went bowling.
How early do you think it is to like introduce someone to your family?
Well, it wasn't meant to be like that. It was just like we were.
Oh. Wait, was there tongue involved, or was this just a peck?
There was tongue involved.
Oh God!
There may have been hands involved.
You
but
are
I don't remember.
nasty.
Why? What?
Oh my goodness! Shame. Shame.
How's that shame?
This is
I'm
not
proud
this
of you.
You're supposed to save yourself till marriage.
Marriage was not really thought of an option because this was back in like 2000 and never mind.
2020.
Yeah, 2020.
All right, so let's see. It was cute. It was sweet.
It was cute.
It was relatable.
I'm innocent.
I felt like I could see it in a movie or a series. It was cute. I would.
Bland.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Wait, you didn't actually say.
I think it's bland.
Okay.
I
I
think
said
it's a
I was
nice
starting
story.
off easy.
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's
I
a
thought-
very nice story, though. It's very
I thought we
sweet.
were gonna just try to one up each other, and I just went for like the action. Y'all were just like, "Oh, we didn't do anything." I'm like, "What?"
Of course,
Well-
we didn't do anything after. That was enough. That was the first gay kiss. Like I just came out. What are you talking about?
You just gotta work yourself up to these things. Can't just boom.
I could tell you.
I spit on it. I mean, I can say
With-
that.
Oh. Well, it's not your story time. That could have got you up to the jalapeno level, but no, you want,
Yeah,
you
what
want
the
to
hell?
keep these details to yourself.
Too late.
Now you're stuck. Okay. Try harder next time. So I guess it's my turn again. So once upon a time, Topher was 21 and claimed to be bisexual to make friends and family feel comfortable with the idea of me liking peen. You know, is what it is. A lot of us, not going to say all of us, but a lot of us go through that bisexual phase where, we're not actually bisexual. We're just trying to lessen the blow for people who might find it as kind of a shock. Like, oh my God. So, I was in that phase, early in that phase. I was 21, so I think this was the summer after I graduated with my undergrad, and I was going to grad school. And I forget who invited me, or was I 22? I don't remember. We're going to say 21 for right now. 21 or 22, one of those. Doesn't matter. It was during the summertime, and I got invited to a gay skate at one of the local skating rinks down here. And I hadn't really been skating since I was a kid. As a kid, I took skating classes and all that kind of stuff. And, I was had fun. But I hadn't really skated since then. But I was like, okay, sure. Why not? And back then I was very big into just like putting on costumes and whatnot, because I think it was roller disco themed or something along those lines. I don't remember. So I remember finding at Target, of all places, these red short shorts, like old vintage 80s gym shorts with like white piping up the leg. And I found myself a nice red headband, and I got myself some sweatbands for my arms, and I got like the white socks with the red stripes that go all the way up to my knee. And I was like, okay, I'm serving a vibe. I am cute. I'm ready to just skate. Like, okay, so that's what I did. I went there and I skated, and I skated some more. And at one point there was this guy who I guess I caught his attention because of how amazing my costume was. And, he started conversing with me. We chit-chatted a little bit, and eventually, the night was over. They were shutting down the skating rink. So I was like, okay, bye, see you later. He walked me out to my car. And he asked me, he's like, hey, can I kiss you? And I was like, okay. And then that was the first kiss. And I remember he just tasted salty. I don't know why. I can't explain why.
He was salty as well?
No,
That was the
kiss was salty because he tasted salty.
Oh.
So
Mm.
I don't know what the cause of that was.
Was he sweaty?
His upper lip
Maybe
was
not at
sweaty.
that moment, but maybe I guess we were out skating, and he was a very hairy man. He was a fair, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was a wolf. So we dated for a little bit after that, and he was nice enough until he started to get really, really clingy, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, because he was an older man. He was definitely double my age, at least at that point in time. So he was well established in his gaydom. I was, a new, fresh. I won't say twink because I've never been a twink. I never will be. It's just not my body type, unfortunately. God built me differently, but it's fine. But I was a young, fresh, thinner, svelter version of Topher. And yeah, he just got very, very clingy very, very quickly. But I do remember one instance where I was giving him a trouser kiss and I had gum in my mouth and it ended up stuck in his pubes. So that was fun. So theoretically, I would say that I've learned never to give those kind of kisses with gum in my mouth again, but I probably will, because I'm surprised I don't have gum in my mouth right now, but I always have gum in my mouth at the worst times. There's so many times I'm taking pictures and I'm like, and then I'll see the final picture and just see blue. And I'm like, oh. So it happens. But yeah, that was a good time. He was the first of a few hairstylists that I've dated in my life, and I've learned since then I don't date hairstylists. I don't date hairstylists. I don't date massage therapists. Too many bad experiences with
massage therapists.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of nice though.
There were two of them as well. Yeah, that was my first salty kiss.
Wait, what's so bad about them? Hold on, I need to know a little bit more.
Well, that was the only common denominator between them.
Oh.
So it's not specifically the profession inherently that's bad. It's just I've had bad luck with multiple hairstylists and multiple massage therapists.
I see.
Yeah, I've heard they're whores. I'm just playing.
Oh my god! I am very gullible. I'm actually believing everything.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that was a Will and Grace reference.
Well, it applied to at least a couple of them, but yeah, that was my first salty kiss. That was not the story I intended telling next, but it just kind of piggybacked off of Sean.
We do like Sean. A good backing,
right? Yeah. Right.
75% off OnlyFans this week. But yeah, I would still put that. I would still put that one in the bland as fuck, because I wasn't planning on telling it, so it's not particularly spicy.
It's bland. That doesn't mean it's a bad story. Bland doesn't mean bad in this situation. Everybody, stop that.
Miguel, do you have a bland story for us?
A bland one? I don't have a bland one.
Okay, well then it doesn't have to be bland. You can.
It doesn't have to be bland.
Just seeing if you want to fit in with the rest of us, but you can spice it up. You can be the first.
I'm trying to remember how it happened.
On your back.
It seems, because looking back at it happened so quickly. All I remember is that I came over to who I thought was the love of my life, obviously, because I was young.
That'll teach you.
I came over to his house. I knew they had a boyfriend. They were going through a breakup. The boyfriend was still living with them. They were not together though.
They were living together? Oh.
They were breaking up.
Oh, that's ooh.
So from my understanding, at that point he was just a roommate, from my understanding.
Never just roommates.
So I remember like I said, it happened so quick though. I remember was meeting them. I think a few things went down. I don't think anything too much happened. Maybe just a little, guck, a little, and that's about it. All I remember was we heard the door open and he was hide here in the closet. So I hid he didn't shove me. The door was wide open. Luckily, And the closet door is open to where it blocks the room's entrance, if that makes sense. Like you can't, if you open the closet doors and you're standing in front of the closet, you can't see outside the door to the hallway. So I was just
Sidney Prescott scream. Gotcha.
So I stood there and I literally heard the boyfriend like greeting the cats like, "Hi babies, hi." He walks upstairs where we are. The guy I was hooking up with, walks out and greets him saying, "Hey, what's up?" Nonchalantly. I don't know if he was like being nervous or anything like that. He's like, "What, like, are you planning to take a shower?" I guess like forcing him to take a shower. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm about to take a shower. I'm about to hop in." He's like, "All right." I think he was like, "All right, let me get the water started for you." He goes, turns the water on. This is what I'm hearing. So this is what I'm visually thinking. Because I keep in mind, I'm still standing in the closet. Then he, I guess, hops in the shower. The boyfriend does, or the roommate. And then the guy comes back and was like, "Okay." He like gives me hand motions, like, you can go. So I sneaked past and went downstairs and left, and that was it.
I would have been like, "So we're not gonna finish? Like how long he gonna shower for? Like you gonna get something started, you don't gotta finish this? Like you give me 3 minutes.
Wait, so you were fully closed this entire time?
I think what happened was like we just finished and we were getting our clothes together.
Oh. Okay, so you did finish. Okay, that's fine then.
Yes, we finished, and then like we put our clothes back together as like it was kind of like one of those movie scenes. Like as you're putting the clothes on, you hear the front door open, and we're like, "Oh no!" So, I was like covering my nipples and everything. Like,
was jumping out the window not an option?
No, I did not want to jump off a 2-story building.
I don't know. Seems like a pretty great option to me. Especially if he actually caught you.
I don't know what I would have done if I got caught. I don't think anything would have happened. It would just been like, hey.
Yeah, well, unless he's a jealous bee, then and that was the problem.
Yeah. It could have very easily turned to violence. You're lucky to be alive.
That's
You're lucky. Yeah, you survived, Miguel.
That's
You're
what a lot of people tell me. They're like, "What happens if his friend or his like roommate was psycho?" And I was like,
Listen,
"Well, luckily I
keep
was
saying this
blessed."
roommate shit. It's not.
So yeah, what would you guys rate that? Being being forced in the closet once more.
You got a lot of closets. You got a closet theme in here.
I like closets. Yeah, closets.
Well, you did say nipples, and I do like the word, so that automatically puts you at least in the warming up. I don't know.
We gotta work on your storytelling.
I don't want to be like
enough to go jalapeno, but
I don't want to give out like, it was throbbing in my hand type of stuff. I don't want to give those details.
These are the things that are going to win you first place, ma'am.
Yeah.
Do you want that $30 Amazon gift card?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to give you, like I said, it did happen very quick. Like after we finished, that's when it felt like a movie. Like, it was like everything was like motion blur.
Your fight or flight was activated.
Yeah, pretty much.
You were terrified.
I wasn't terrified. I was like,
you were so afraid for your life during this entire hiding in the closet scenario.
Have y'all ever been in one of those scenarios where you had to hide from like the other person? Like you were the other woman technically in this.
Well, I mean, I accidentally, but that was the first story. I didn't have to hide from anybody. I didn't know.
Not that I know of, anyways. It could have been.
Not that I can put my finger on. No. Not yet.
Well,
I mean, life's still
not yet. Hey.
Well.
How you doing out there? No.
Hey, baby.
Hey.
I would put it in the warming up. It's like on the cusp of the jalapeno tier.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's still warming up.
I don't think I could get past it. That means I'd have to go into detail, like me crawling under a desk and him taking a phone call type of stuff.
We like details.
Yeah, go on. All right, I guess I can step it up a notch.
Yay, Chipotle.
I was actually gonna say that one. Although I have other ones too, but we could do Chipotle.
I mean,
so we were eating Chipotle.
that's it.
Or as my mom would say, Chipotle. No. So you get, it's no secret that I was in a relationship for a very long time. We didn't necessarily intend to spice it up this way, but they had a gluten allergy, so we had to be very careful with where we ate. So we ate a lot of like Chipotle, where you could like choose what you were going to put in your stuff, right? I don't remember at what point this. I mean, it was a long relationship. I don't remember at what point this was, but at some point, like we were very good at just spontaneity. Sometimes, we just had some good times. This particular time, I don't remember exactly what we were doing. We would just go out to eat randomly because that's what we did. And Chipotle was one of the go-to spots. So we had Chipotle. It was marvelous. It was great, I guess. We get back to our place. And sometimes the mood just strikes, you just feel like doing the thing. You forget sometimes that you may have had jalapeno peppers. And so while we were getting hot and heavy, we both had guacamole, which had jalapenos in it. So kissing wise, we didn't really feel a difference, right? Like it didn't dawn on us that we had just eaten jalapeno peppers, because we had both done it. However, as things started to move, and we were, not to toot my own horn, but I like to, warm up the plate, so to speak. So we took our time, and eventually, he went down.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
He went down, and
Down where?
To my pee-pee.
Oh.
Yeah. And and I was sitting there, and I'm just like, wow, this feels different. This feels like, what's going on?
Oh my!
It's starting to tingle a little bit. Like, this is weird. What's going?
Like in a good way, or like what is going on?
It was like weird. Like, it just didn't,
like a gonorrhea kind of way.
I wouldn't know that part. It just felt like it wasn't like unpleasant, but it wasn't like it was just different. Like, it just didn't feel. It didn't feel bad. It didn't feel great. It was like somewhere in between. And I'm like, what is happening? And then he unhitched. And then that's when it really, like, the sensation really started coming in.
Yeah, what's unhinged?
He unhinged his jaw. He just devoured it whole.
Oh no, he
just me then. Sorry. Continue.
No, he ended that session. Let's say.
Oh.
And we were about to move on to other things.
Disengaged. Gotcha.
Disengaged. Yes.
Got it.
And that's when it really started to feel a little, tingly. Like, that's the cool air around it apparently really got that jalapeno to really do its thing. And I didn't realize, like, it didn't dawn on me. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, what did you do?
What witchcraft and sorcery?
Let's just say, we definitely used different toys and tried different things, in our relationship. So it definitely wasn't like, I was like, did you just do something that I just didn't see, you know? And we just couldn't figure it out. And, you know, eventually, as one does, we just said F it and started to F it. What?
Nothing. I just,
Okay.
I did not expect this from you, Sean. I know you're a very cautious person. I was like, oh, he's gonna stop. He's gonna stop. He's gonna be like, maybe we should hold off.
Should get it checked out.
Yeah,
Just get it checked out.
You went
Go
full
to the
throttle.
ER.
We were.
Full throttle.
It was a monogamous relationship. I had trust in that person at the time.
I'm so sorry.
No, you don't have to be sorry, but no, at that time, yeah, no. And even still, I still trust that. Like, it was definitely jalapeno. And we realized it was jalapeno eventually, right? Like, afterwards. And, he started feeling it.
Okay, I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
During the warm-up session.
And it took us being in the shower afterwards, because we took showers together afterwards, typically, as well, which also sometimes led to other things. Again. And it wasn't until like we started, washing off, and it was like, oh yeah, we had Chipotle. Oh, we should probably be careful next time because we just had jalapeno.
I've heard so many jokes about like not doing it after eating jalapeno, but you did not hear that, did you?
No. No.
Threw caution to the wind.
It wasn't like a bad feeling, but it was just,
My question is, how many jalapenos were in this guacamole that after you guys ate, made it home, had whatever to drink, like it's still residual effect is just lingering. Like,
it was there.
How much jalapenos y'all eating now? Lord.
I don't know, that Chipotle apparently put a lot in there that time.
Was it jalapenos or was it the salsa? Or both?
It was I usually had the green salsa.
Oh yeah, their salsa's like, oh.
Back then I did anyways.
Well, that was cute.
I'm glad you're okay.
I'm glad you survived.
Yeah.
I'm glad all your parts are still intact. I feel like that's worthy of the jalapeno tier,
What?
How ironic. Did it feel numb or did it feel tingly?
It was more tingly, not numb.
Oh, I thought it was a numbing feeling. Like, I can't really feel anything now.
It's like in comparison to like a mouthwash trouser kiss.
I haven't had that. I don't know that one.
Wait, mouthwash trouser kiss?
Yes. It's like you freshly mouthwashed before you kiss the.
Is that a technique?
I mean, there are lots of things you could call techniques. Some just call them happy accidents.
I might
Sometimes
have to.
it's just absent-minded thinking, but some
usually
people might be
mouthwash
into
is for
that.
afterwards.
Okay, noted.
Miguel's learning so much.
I am. Like, no gum, no jalapeno.
That's always a bad idea. What was young Topher thinking? Come on.
He liked fresh breath. The first kiss was salty as fuck. He didn't want to be.
That's fair.
Look, if there's one thing about me, and that still sticks with me to this day, I don't ever want to be one of those people who doesn't know that their breath smells bad.
Oh my goodness, I'm always paranoid. Yeah,
I've been around people like that, and I don't know how to just say, "Hey, you smell." I don't know how to have that conversation. So I always have gum, mint, something on me because I'm just paranoid. No matter how much I brush my teeth, mouthwash, all that, I always have it on me. That's how you tell them.
You just throw it in there.
Well, I always get myself one. So no one feels offended, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm being polite. You want some too?" But like, I'm always, I'm always chewing gum because like I don't want to be that person that offends somebody's senses and sensibilities. So I didn't want to offend his senses and sensibilities, so I maintained a fresh mouth, and he had a fresh penis by the end of it,
And pubes.
and pubes. I mean, it came out. I'd been chewing on the gum for a while, so it wasn't like super sticky. It was.
Okay, the question is, did you just like stick it back in afterwards?
Well, no, most of it was in his lab. We just.
I can
What?
imagine that, and just like you like picking it out of the hair and just like throwing it to the side. No, I'm not putting it
But no,
back.
it
Just,
still
like,
got some
throwing it
flavor,
to
y'all. Hold on. I paid for this stick. I vote for a jalapeno tier myself.
I suppose it's the most in detailed so far.
That's not even my best one yet.
I'm not.
mean,
I
we
don't
can
think I.
We can do another round.
We might have to.
Well, let me see. What story do I want to go into now? I guess I can go into the Cheesecake Factory parking lot anecdote because I use that all the time.
Cheesecake parking lot.
So once upon a time, there was a mid to late 20s Topher. I want to say closer to the mid. And he met a guy on. Did I meet him on Plenty of Fish? He was not a grinder guy. No, he might have been a grinder guy. I don't think he was a grinder guy. He might have been a Plenty of Fish guy. I don't know. I was on all the apps at that point, so they all just kind of blend into each other at one point. But I met him, and just like, the first guy from the first story, we chit-chatted. We had great conversation. It was nice. He was cute. He was very handsome. He was a short king, and I was like, oh, that's adorable. I love a good pocket gay. Come on. And, I was excited. It was a good time. He had a job. He had a good job, and I was like, okay, this is even better, because I feel like everyone else I dated at that point was not. We won't go into that, but like he was handsome.
You can fix
a good
it. It's okay.
job.
Keep going.
He had goals. He had aspirations. I'm like, okay, this guy seems cool. So we hung out a few times, but the time in question, up until that point in life, I have always been the person to pay on a date. Not because the other person couldn't, for whatever. My mom raised me to be too goddamn independent, too independent for my own good. So even if someone else invited me out on a date or something, my mom always taught me, make sure you have money in your pocket just in case, that person doesn't, their card gets declined, whatever, make sure that you have blah, blah, blah. So then I just always foot the bill. It's just always how it's been. So this was the first instance that we went to lunch. We met at one of the bigger malls in the Tampa area. And I forget what restaurant we went to, but we had lunch at, I think it was an Irish pub. That feels right. Yeah, we had lunch. It was great, blah, blah, blah. And then he paid the bill. And I'm like, what? I'm sorry? Are you handsome and you just paid the lunch bill? I don't understand what? So after lunch, we were just gonna walk to our cars. I parked, I think, on like the opposite side of the mall, whatever. It's like, okay, well, I can give you a ride. I'll drive you over there. So we get to his car. He was parked outside the Cheesecake Factory. And then I blew him in the back seat because I had to say thank you. He paid for lunch. It was
just courtesy.
It's courtesy, exactly. And it was really hot. Not necessarily like hot and passionate, although was, because I'm good at what I do. But like he didn't turn on the air conditioning, so we're just in a hot car in the back seat in Florida. So it was very hot, very sweaty. But I got the job done because, again, I'm good at what I do. And yeah, I was just very caught off guard. I didn't know how to say thank you because it had never happened before. Since then,
I
I've let other people pay and I've just said thank you with words. But for that first time, I was just so caught off guard. Yeah, we're obviously not together anymore. But we had a fun little time in the sun.
Did he give you a pat on the head to let you know?
No, that was one downside, but like I could tell. I was experienced enough at that point. I could tell from body language. Like I know what I'm doing. I know what
he's starting to shake. He's like,
I'm like, I could feel the things. I'm like, okay, we're almost done here. Thank God. It's too hot in this damn car. I got time for all of this. I did not waterproof this makeup. No, I don't think that's the point, but like, I did not come prepared for all of this for lunch. So thank God this is almost done. But yeah, there was no gum involved at that point. No gum in pubes. Just good old fashioned.
Good old fashioned.
Cheesecake parking lot. Cheesecake Factory parking lot.
Back of the car.
You know. Did you get cheesecake?
Session. No, we weren't at the Cheesecake Factory. He was just parked out there. That's where his car was. But yeah, anytime I mention in conversation, like, I don't know, reference Cheesecake Factory parking lot. Some friends know what I'm talking about. Now the rest of the world knows what I'm talking about too.
Now everybody knows.
Everybody knows. But yeah,
what if that dude slides into your DMs?
No, it's been far too long, and I don't know if he's a Republican. Not that matters or anything, but like recently, because I think I might still follow him on like Instagram. I think we might still be mutual friends there. But he gives me like young Republican vibes. Like in hindsight, I can see that. But young Topher was like, okay, whatever. It's a pretty boy
when
who
you're
likes
young,
me.
dick is dick, okay?
Exactly. But yeah, now it gives me kind of young Republican vibes. I'm like, it's probably for the best. But it was a fun, like I said, we had a good time. There were a few sessions that were enjoyable. He was very cute, very, very well proportioned. And just, yeah, had a good time.
This is not helping your virginity case.
Well, I mean, I haven't told the stories about my virginity because, well, I don't want to ruin the ranking for this story. So we can rank this one first, and I'll tell you guys about my virginity and how that works. Yeah. Where do you? I think it's at least a warming up.
It's the jalapeno to me.
What's the second tier about
warming up? So we have bland as fuck, warming up, jalapeno, and ghost pepper.
I'd say jalapeno. Yeah.
Okay. I was
the parking lot. Was it daytime or nighttime?
Daytime.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Was it daytime or nighttime? Yeah,
broad daylight.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's hot.
It was hot. I agree.
It's literally hot, and it's hot.
It was ungodly hot. Jesus. I don't wish that on my worst enemy, but it was a good time. But yes, my virginity, the way that works, is because.
Listen, are we calling this like the Bill Clinton virginity or something? Because
it might be something similar, but the way my virginity works is I'll go through periods of dry spell, and after a certain amount of time, it just grows back. So I'm on like my fourth or fifth virginity in life now.
I feel that as well. I really resonate with what you just said. I really resonate with that.
Born again. That's how it works.
Sean, you're a virgin too. Yeah.
That's a whole hell of an assumption. Jeez.
I was going to say, that's not what I heard. I read the couch.
You read the couch?
I haven't seen the deluxe edition yet, but I've
it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I moved down here. Yeah. Because listen, Chicago is far better than where I'm at right now. In a lot of ways.
Well, you'll have your car. We'll find you someone at the concert. I'll find my way back to the Airbnb, and y'all.
Topher will keep an eye out.
You can flip that. I'll be at the concert. It's not gonna happen, everybody. Shut up.
If there are any 18 in Chicago, I got a thing for Psynergic.
18 plus,
That-
actually 20 plus preferably.
Yes.
20 plus preferably. 21 and
can't
plus.
drink.
Yeah, 21 and plus actually. 21 and plus.
Don't bother.
26 and plus.
I'm not a babysitter.
28 and plus, fine.
25. I think 25 and plus.
42 and plus.
Listen, at this point, I will take a daddy. Okay, I really
87
regret
and
not.
plus bare minimum.
I had a man offer me $1,000 per week before I went up to Chicago, and I'm like, man, I really wish that I would have taken that now. That would have been great savings.
I never got an actual concrete number, but I have been offered in past by an older man. And there's part of me that wishes that I had not taken him up on his offer, but at least inquired further into the detail.
Yeah, right. I didn't even respond to the dude.
Well,
I'm like, I mean, to be fair, that was right after the breakup too. So
I was just
what were you saying, Toki? Sorry.
I was just a karaoke minding my own business. Actually, no, karaoke hadn't started yet. I was waiting for my friend to show up, and this older gentleman, we'll say, I don't know, 60 plus, I don't remember. But he was sitting at the edge of the bar, and it's like, hey. I'm like, hi. It's like, you're very handsome. I'm like, oh, thank you. Back to whatever I was doing. And then he taps me on the shoulder again. He's like, hey, I have a lot of money.
Oh,
And I'm like, that's nice. I just went back to my Diet Coke and just sat there. And, there's a part of me that wishes that I had inquired more, because I could have been left with an estate by now, because I'm sure he's dead at this point. So I could have an estate to my name.
Oh, is that age?
Yes.
Listen.
It's like, I got nothing to lose at this point in life. Shoot my shot. Like, I get it.
As with the economy as it is, and millennials as we have to deal with, God, I could have a house by now.
Yeah, that was back before I was still living in my parents' house, so I didn't have bills to pay. I didn't have anything to worry about. So I'm like, I don't need your money. I have a job tutoring after schools. So I'm fine. I'm good with life right now. I have self-respect. God, I wish that my mother raised me differently. I swear, I say it all the time, if my mother didn't raise me to be so independent and to have such self-respect, I would be such a whore. And if God gave me a better body, and my mom didn't raise me to have certain standards, I would be such a whore. I'd just be spreading it all over the place. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not slut shaming anybody. I got friends. Some of my best friends are the biggest whores, and I love them to death. I don't slut shame anybody. Get yours. Just be safe, please.
Yes. Test.
Get tested, yeah.
I would be such a whore. But it's just not in the cards for me. So I have to be a lady.
Mm-hmm. I feel, yeah.
I feel that.
Same.
Unfortunately.
It's just too much. It really is.
It's exhausting.
It's draining. Too much preparation. Right. Oh.
Not for me. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was like, I don't prepare shit, okay? I just dive in and that's it.
I just gotta wash. I wash up.
I do a quick 30-second
dive in.
And I'm good. Right, so we still don't have a ghost pepper story.
I don't know that we're gonna have one this time.
A ghost pepper story. I'm trying to think. I think I've said the most spicy. I don't really have spicy stories. I mean, unless you consider cruising.
Go on.
Is it the most spicy one? No. I do have another one. Okay, so this is not cruising. So what had happened was I texted someone on Grindr, correct? Um, and they're like, "Well, I'm really close," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, unfortunately, as the bottom, I cannot host, you know, because I still live with my parents." And they're like, "Oh, seriously?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "But we can do something outdoors." And they were like, "I'm down. I'm down." So they pulled up behind my house.
Pulled up to your bumper.
They pulled up. They're like, "I'm here." I'm like, "Okay." Like I live. So let me give you a little like imagery. I technically live in the laundry room. My room's in the laundry room. It's separate from the house. You can close the laundry room, and it's like a thick wall and door, so you can't really hear anything. So what they did was they split the laundry room like 75%. So it's like 25% laundry room, and the rest is like a walk-in closet. So that's where I live right now. So
Okay.
I can easily access the garage, close off the door to the house, and walk out the garage. So I did that, closed the door, and I snuck out to the backyard, opened the back gate, let him in, and was like, "Hi,
What
nice
you
to
do.
meet you. You're very cute." And I was like, "Likewise," yada, yada, yada. And then I was like, "Whip it up." And
Oh. Okay.
It's like, I'm fighting for that jalapeno placement. Okay, go ahead.
So, he whips it out. One thing led to another.
Were you impressed?
Was it worth the wait?
I don't know if it's just me, but most of the time after a hookup, I'm like, I should have just like stayed at home because.
Fair.
So with this one, I was like, was it? I think the risk was more exciting than the actual thing, and the pictures made it seem
Usually
bigger
is.
than it was.
Good photography does that.
So
Gotta get that angle.
yeah. I mean, things happen. Things came out. Human bodily things came out, if you get what I'm
Like
saying.
vomit?
And in.
Yes, vomit. Yes.
Didn't know to that, but okay.
Oh.
They helped. What was that? I reciprocated, or is it they reciprocated? I don't know the term.
Depends who went first.
And
You
they
filleted?
left. Yes, I filleted.
Okay.
And they left, and I came back to my room, and I was online gaming. Because I was like
course you were.
on Discord with my friends when that was happening. So I came back
Was
and
this after a stream?
no, it was not after a stream. I came
Was this before a stream?
I came back to my friends and I was like, "Hey, I'm back." And they're like, "Where'd you go?" And I was like, "To hook up with the guy." And they were like, "Oh, well, how'd it go?" And yeah.
I'd have been like, well, that was fast.
Yeah, it was. It was very much okay. The last thing I wanted was for like one of my parents or my brother to let out my dog, and then my dog like go yapping behind us both butt naked.
That's the fun part. What are you talking about?
So yeah, that's what happened. I don't think I'd ever do it again. It's too much.
Why?
Too much. Like, I'm too paranoid that the dog would be let out, and then like, what do we do? Jump over the fence butt naked?
I mean, I don't know your setup, but maybe.
It's not worth it. Like I said, I usually like when after you get that clarity, that post clarity, you're just like, I should have just stayed home. This is not worth it.
Yeah. Oh, that reminded me of another story. Whoa. Write that one down for later.
Oh, so you guys heard that there might be a part 2 to this video. Tune back in 3 weeks when we come back to this tier list.
Actually, it reminded me of two stories.
So what would y'all rate that? What would you rate that?
Let's see. We had outdoor shenanigans, which seems to be your MO. You're great in public. No,
It's not a bad thing.
No, we had this is 2 in public,
mean-
and you had 2 in a closet. So they're outdoor
Be safe, everybody.
shenanigans. He was a virtual stranger, so there's like this anonymity to it. That's like, oh,
I hooked up with him in the future again, and it was not.
did it get better? He was
no.
not out.
No, it was not him. I knew it was the experience. After that, I was like, yeah, it was experience. It wasn't you. I didn't say that to him. I kept that in mind. I thought to myself.
Wait, wait. What do you mean by it was experience?
Like it was the experience, like the risk, you know.
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
risk of like being caught. That was.
Yeah. Well, that always enhances.
Yeah.
That's throw in some good anxiety in there, some danger, which was like most hookups in the 90s.
I wouldn't know. I was a child.
So was I actually, but I've heard.
I mean,
You know.
Oh, ranking. Wait, did Topher go?
No, I don't think so.
I was still rationalizing. I was adding up all the pieces. So we had the outdoor element. We had the anonymity. We had a little bit of a disappointing ending. He didn't feel very satisfying.
No. He left me satisfied, but you know, it was like when I sat down, I was like, I think I could have just like you know, that rationality of like, if I was caught,
like when you're
just done this myself.
when you're sexting somebody and then you've just done it yourself and they're still talking, you're like, I'm good.
When you're dirty talking on the phone, and then they say, when you're talking, they say, "Huh? What'd you say?" And it's just a mood killer. It's like, all right, we're done.
Yep.
Bye. I'm done. I finished things. I don't need you. I
We're
put
done
it
here.
in the jalapeno.
I agree.
It feels adequately jalapeno.
Trying to figure out which one do I want to go. Do I want to go? Okay. So this was after I came back from after my military service, after I was in Iraq. I started community college, the first place that I went to. Before I moved to Virginia, I was still back in Pennsylvania. So I was traveling from where I lived, which was about an hour north of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is the capital of Pennsylvania, and where my community college was. I was very active in the LGBTQ scene there. It's a lot of I forget what it was called, whatever they called it, like the ally group or the LGBTQ group that usually is on campus. Very active. I was very politically active. At that moment, I was volunteering on campaigns. I was literally going toe to toe with senators and representatives and, handing them not ballots, but thousands of signatures for marriage equality and all this kind of stuff. Right. Very politically active. We as a group, we went out occasionally. This time we were going out to a club together. We met up there was always this one guy, because there always is, in the group. Super tall, not particularly good looking, but I was freshly out, because I just came back from the military, which I came out right before I left for that. So I was back in the States. I would still say very freshly out and not fearing for my life, literally. So it was, looks maybe weren't at the top priority at that moment. It was just more vibes, I guess. We were very motivated and working on these different projects and things. He wasn't bad looking by any stretch of the imagination. But he definitely had that bad boy quality to him as well. Lots of piercings, tattoos, the loves of my life. Anyways, we were like, this was one of the first group outings that we did it, and we happened to go to a club. We met up at like the president's apartment. I don't remember where it was. It wasn't in Harrisburg. It was further south. But we met up at her apartment for pregame and all that kind of stuff. And, eventually we went out to this club. It wasn't, strictly speaking, a gay club. It was, an all-encompassing club. There were a lot of straight people there as well. But it was a gay-friendly club. They had certain types of very strong drinks that were, very, I think they were called like Red Monsters or something. So it was, probably Red Bull and a lot of alcohol as it goes. Yeah. Yeah. It was good. It was fine. The dancing, like this was the first time I'd ever been to a club too. So, I didn't know what to expect. I was a little nervous and anxious and just, trying to deal with that all. Eventually, I think we all got to a point where we started having, a decent amount to drink. We had a decent intoxication level. And we were dancing. There was a lot of grinding. Eventually, me and that guy got closer.
Like biblically?
Not at first.
Right
Eventually.
on the dance floor. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was at that point in the night. Like it was super late or early, however you want to look at it. And we just started getting closer. And if on a dance floor, you start grinding, you start getting up in there. Eventually my hand started finding its way on the dance floor into his pants. And that was the first time I ever felt a Prince Albert.
Oh. It just took a turn. Come on.
Yes. So like, I mean, he was all up in my ear. I was like feeling away because this would have been like the first time for me, right? Like this was that. I felt the Prince Albert. It was the very first time I'd ever felt anything like that, or even like I didn't even really like. I was kind of a good kid. Like I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that was possible. So I'm learning all sorts of things. I'm like, how's this thing working?
What is this growth?
I had so many questions. Even in my drunk state, I had so many questions that I would never get answered until later. But anyways, eventually, the president of the club came up to us and was like, hey, don't forget, I forget what his name was. You have a boyfriend. Don't forget him. Don't forget him.
Oh.
He forgot him.
Oh, you hussy.
He forgot him in the parking lot.
You home wrecking Jezebel.
They were still together. I don't remember. Like I don't know their relationships. That they could have been open. I wouldn't have known at that point just because I just wasn't like I didn't know. I was an uneducated little twink dude that just didn't know anything. But it happened in my face. It was very powerful. It was the first time that ever happened.
Oh.
He reciprocated. And then we went back to dancing like nothing happened because she reminded us that he had a boyfriend. But that was like my first, well, not my first experience, but it was like one of the first, especially with a Prince Albert.
Did it get stuck
out in the public,
consoles?
in the parking lot? As one does in a club, I guess.
True. Did it get
Especially
stuck
in your
behind your
20s.
tonsils?
Did it get stuck? No. No, but I've had it up in like it goes up a little
Oh
bit,
my.
and it's just like.
That's
Hmm.
always one fear that I've had ever since I watched The Sweetest Thing. I'm like, oh, I'm worried. I'm worried.
Yeah, that is gonna go like up into your sinuses a little bit.
No, that's gonna get stuck behind your tonsils, and you're gonna have to get like
Oh.
the ambulance and whatnot to come and free you.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm gonna have to start singing to free myself, which it's not an issue. I love to sing. That's a whole nother story. But we don't have time for that story because we're already like 3 hours into this podcast.
We got to get to the next hookup.
All right. Well, someone's grinder just went off. Not mine because I don't know where the fuck my phone is. So clearly one of them have somewhere to be. So where would you guys rank that story?
What's the one above jalapeno?
Ghost pepper.
Ghost?
I'm feeling ghost pepper vibes. Like I feel like it's if it's not fully ghost pepper, it's on the precipice. But I feel like it's good enough to push it into the ghost pepper.
Yeah. The Prince Albert. They really took it there.
It was the first time. I've
seen one, and I remember the guy was like, "Do you want me to take it out or to leave it in?" And I was like, "I'm not used to it. Can you take it out?" He's like, "Yeah." So he turns around and like takes it out. He's like, "All right, I'm ready."
He's got a sword.
Leave it in. Actually, put it in deeper.
Oh my gosh.
I was always like, how do you pee with that? Like, does it not like, ugh.
Permanent fork. Just.
I just imagine that it would burn.
I mean, probably.
Well, if it heals.
Yeah, like once it heals, it's just like any other hole, I imagine. But.
I mean, urine is sterile, and so it hits air. So.
The more you know.
I'm always fascinated by them.
Unless you have like
one.
I could never know. No,
but I'm always fascinated to look at them.
Yep.
Like,
Interesting.
I don't know how that would have went if we had actually gone further in that one, because that would have been like a battle of the tops. I don't know how that would.
Well, did we know that he was a top?
I guess we don't, but it was always I always kind of assumed that it would have been more of a battle of who would.
That'd be a fun sword fight.
Well, we never got to that because it was all mouth only.
Next time.
What? So I think after this, we should all, repent for our.
Dear Satan,
thank you.
Take me deeper.
Well,
oh my God.
If I remember to create this graphic and send it over to Ron, here is our current standings as far as the tier lists go. Good job, you guys. So Sean is currently in the lead with the spiciest tale that he's told. But
that's not even my best one yet.
But you've got me and Miguel coming up here. I feel like I'm further in the back. I have more things in the blandest fuck tier, but no, actually, hold on. No, yeah, I do.
I don't.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I have 2 in the blandest fuck and 1 in the jalapeno, where you have 1 in the blandest fuck and you have 1 in each of the categories. Wait. No, you have 1 in blandest fuck, 1 in jalapeno, and 1 in ghost pepper, and then Miguel is owning the warming up tier all to himself. I think he's got 1 in jalapeno.
Good job, Miguel. You warming us up.
All them closet tales.
Getting that foreplay in there.
But yes, clearly, as you guys heard there towards the end, we have lots more stories while Sean and I do. Miguel, you've got like 3 weeks to make up some. Or have experiences. Go whore it up for a couple weeks. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, then let us know. And be sure to tune in 3 weeks when I'm hosting again, and we'll probably come back to this unless I think of some other game to play. But Yeah, thank you guys for being such good sports today and for sharing your dirty little secrets and for, trying to corrupt my innocence. And,
Mhm.
I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best.
Don't forget to rate us on whatever app whatever podcast thing you're on. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. 5 stars. Leave us a review. It helps out the podcast overall as they suggested more and more. Yeah, bye.